Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Redmond of METV, and today we have a very special show because we are joined by two people whose names are synonymous with string instruments. We are joined by the Perlmans, Toby Perlman and Itzhak Perlman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Nice to be here.
It's wonderful to have you both here, and today we are going to speak about an amazing program that comes right here to the Suncoast. It is the Perlman Music Program, Suncoast, specifically right here in Sarasota, and it is an amazing program that many people have seen, but there are some that don't know about it. So tell us all about the program, Toby, because you are the founder.
Yes. Well, it's basically a pre-college age program, although we make exceptions for old folk like 19-year-olds, maybe some 20-year-olds. It's all strings only. And every winter we come down here to sunny, gorgeous Sarasota. And we do a program that consists of orchestra playing, chamber music, solo playing, and we sing every day. We have a wonderful chorus master, and we just love it here.
Now, how many years has the Perlman Music Program been here on the Suncoast?
I want to say 12 years, 13.
14.
Is it 14
That's
years?
almost- I
That's
was
a long
told it was
time.
13,
That's a
yeah.
wonderful
Yeah.
thing. And how did you start this? What inspired you to start the program and bring it specifically here to
Well,
Sarasota?
I cannot take any credit for that. It was at the suggestion of the husband of one of our faculty members. And they lived down here at the time, and he thought Sarasota would be a perfect place because it is a cultural town. And people here love classical music and ballet and so on. So it was his idea, and he pushed it. He talked to everyone he knew and so on, and he got it organized. And so I can't take the credit.
Well, give us a little bit of a picture for people that might not know about the program. What does it look like and how has it changed? How did it start? How many people were involved?
Well, it's in terms of how many people come to the program, how many students we have, we try never to exceed 40. 35 is the magic number. So between 35 and 40, and during the summer, for the Littles program, it runs 7 weeks. And they live together and work together for a 7-week period. We have additional programs. We have a chamber music workshop, which is for older students. Some of our alums attend that, and that's a 3-week program that takes place at the end of May for 3 weeks. We haven't enlarged the program, and that's the secret of our success. It's exactly the opposite of what people think. People think, oh, you're bigger and bigger and bigger. No.
Why? Why have you kept it
Because
small?
35 it's bigger than a family, but not much. So we, at 35 kids, we can and do know what's going on with each student.
So you want to get the optimal out of each student?
Absolutely, and we want to be able to tailor the program to the individual when it's necessary.
I guess I would ask you, Mr. Perlman, about how these children feel about being able to perform with you. That must be a highlight for them.
I have absolutely no idea. You know,
You are too modest.
I know. I really don't know. I mean, all I know is that I see each violinist one-on-one. You know, we don't. You know, we have what you call a masterclass format, which is we actually call it a studio class, where kids play for each other. Yeah, but those are only twice. You know, during our time here. But most of the time. And as the same way as in the summertime in Shelter Island, I see each student individually one-on-one, and then I conduct the orchestra, and I am part of our chorus together with Toby, and that's a bait. Now I don't know. Do they think that it's great for them to study with me? I have no idea. You should ask them. I have no idea.
Well, then what I would ask you is, how proud are you of this woman sitting beside me?
Well, she is the
Oh,
the
well.
main, yeah. Well, she is the main. She started this whole thing. It was totally her idea.
Okay, wait a minute.
It was.
It was my idea, and I did start it. But he's the key.
Yes.
He's the key. For several reasons. The obvious, the master violinist and the master musician and so on. But it's more than that. He really sets an example. He's a role model for them of how to be in the world. And that is something that it's almost intangible, an intangible quality.
Is the music something that you carry beyond your performance on the stage and your rehearsals? Is this something that teaches you as a human being how to be out there in the world?
It's a good question. It's a really good question. Because when you play chamber music, it's a give and take. What do you think?
Well, absolutely. But it's a give and take, not only musically, but in many ways socially.
Right.
And whatever we do, like when we sing in chorus, it's a social experience. When we play in orchestra, it's a social experience. It's an experience that gives you the importance of doing stuff together. Not saying I'm my soloist and that's what I have blinders and that's all I want to do. It means that music is something that a lot of people together can experience, and in many ways and Toby is the one that's, for us, we are more proud almost the way these kids are colleagues and friends of each other. It's almost secondary. The music is almost secondary.
Do they help each other in the class? Give me an example of how someone may help someone else.
And they're so supportive of one another. It's really touching, They're coming out of competitive households. I mean competitive. A lot of them don't go to school. They practice all day long. It's sad in a way. But that's another topic. It's another interview. But they really support one another, and they applaud one another when they feel that, and they hug one another when they feel that.
One of the things that you are known for is creating a very collaborative environment and a very supportive environment for the kids that are in the Perlman Music Program Suncoast.
We hope so. We certainly try.
Everything that we do, we think about just to promote a lack of competition. Things like, in the orchestra, for example, there are many places where kids compete for the spaces in the orchestra, for the place in the orchestra, for whether you sit in first stand or second stand. In our orchestra, we rotate automatically. So every movement that the kids play, I just put them in different places, and it's basically at random. Sometimes I get confused and I put somebody at the same place, and they said, "Why am I sitting in the same place?" I said, "I don't mean that, please." And sometimes we might at one point use one of those computer things where they can actually automatically put you in different places every time that you want. But that's basically what we do. That's part of the philosophy here.
So let's talk about the Super Strings program. How old are the children involved in the Super Strings program?
My impression was that they started at 8 or 9.
And finished at 17 or 18.
There were some really little kids up on that stage. And go through high school, yeah.
Now, it's changed a little this year. How has it changed? Who are the players? Is
Well,
it just the violin?
No, I think this year, in the previous years, it was just fiddle players. But this year it was all the strings, cellos, violas, basses, and the level was, didn't you think, much higher?
Much better,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
How do you think this opens it up to bringing more people in as an audience that are interested in the other instruments?
I don't know. I think I had a feeling it was very successful, and that people will tell their friends. And I don't know. What goes on locally here is something I don't necessarily know about.
But I suppose that the idea that they're playing with our orchestra, which is a wonderful orchestra, and they join our orchestra, and they're both making a terrific sound.
Yeah.
And that to me should be a very encouraging thing to keep going. And as we see, you know, as Toby said, you know, me too, I felt the level was better and better this year.
Is it most important to have the most talented child, or is it more important to have someone that's close to being that talented but is driven by their soul? It's what they want more than anything in the world. Who do you give the opportunity
The question
to?
is, what is talent?
There you go.
What is talent?
Something you have, and it's something that you can't teach. But it's not something that is enough. You got to do something with it.
Is this making it too hard for kids, even though you said you're taking the competitive environment out? You know, because you want it to be collaborative, you want it to be the ultimate teamwork experience. But are we?
See,
I think a higher level is good.
I do too.
Absolutely, you know, the more the merrier. You know,
You know, I don't want to give the wrong impression. I don't want people to think, because they hear me say it a lot, that competition is horrible and terrible. I think there are certain personalities that benefit maybe from a competitive environment, but it shouldn't be the main focus. In other words, we really don't care who runs the fastest, you know, or swims the longest. We care what they have to say while they're doing it.
And also, you know, in music, it's a very subjective thing. You know, I mean, it's looking like if you have a competition, you know, it's not like you have a tennis match and you have a final score. You know, when the ball is out of the court, you lose the point. What constitutes the ball is out of the court when somebody plays a phrase? I mean, it's a very esoteric kind of thing. Yeah. So the question is to do your best and to speak, you know, to speak from your heart and so on and so forth. But again, judging it is tricky. It's very tricky.
Also because everybody develops at a different rate, a different pace. Right. And two 15-year-olds are not necessarily, one is not necessarily more talented than the other. One might be a late bloomer. That we all know about late bloomers. They really exist.
They do. Indeed, they do.
100%.
And when someone sticks with it, I hear that you have a program, they come back and they share what they've learned with your alumni program. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, it's evolved over the past few years. It's very exciting. We have alumni who come down to Sarasota, do outreach, talk to kids in the schools. I think it's very valuable. Especially with all the cuts to the arts. We just can't do enough of this. And there's no such thing as too much. So it's wonderful for our alumni. It gives them a chance to play and gives them a chance to give back. So it's win-win, win-win.
How can the community get behind the Perlman Music Program, Suncoast? What can we do to help you?
Well, buy the winning lottery ticket. There you go.
I will purchase one today.
And sharing it with us.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's, you know, that's a problem.
But how do you get your donations then, or how do you get your donors?
I walk around like this to everybody. What? That's all you're giving me? No. Well, no, we work hard at raising money all year round. You know, we're constantly involved in asking people for money, scholarships. You know, our population, the arts are not usually. People coming out of the arts don't usually have a lot of money. So we have to help these kids with scholarships because if we don't, they can't come. And so we're not going to turn somebody away because they can't afford it. That would be terrible. So
How are we getting younger people more involved and interested in classical music, per se?
Well, that's at the house. That's at the home.
At home.
At home, you know, that's when the parents expose you to classical music via concerts, via watching particular television programs, via going to, exposing you to studying an instrument and so on. You know, just because you study an instrument doesn't mean that you're supposed to be, you know, make a living at that, but it always gives you the experience, you know, of what it's like and making it not foreign. and so on. So a lot of this stuff, it has to be at the home, you know. Also supporting programs at the schools, music programs at the schools, because those are always the programs that are being cut. Whenever there's a problem with money, the first thing to be cut is the arts and music program. And that's bad. That's very, very bad. That should not happen.
It's sad because music changes the way you feel. When you hear a beautiful piece of music, it can make you laugh, it can make you cry.
It changes your brain.
It
That's
does
right.
change your brain.
That's right.
And I think that by the Perlman Music Program, it also instills other values, discipline,
I
camaraderie.
hope so.
What's the one hope that you have, the biggest hope you have going forward for the Perlman Music Program? And this is for both of you.
Oh, I just hope we can continue on our path. I don't see great changes in our curriculum or great changes in our philosophy. I'm pretty happy with what we're doing, actually.
Just to continue with what we do, and let's hope that the high intensity begging works.
Right.
Which is what we do also.
I'll volunteer on your behalf.
Yes.
On that note, we'd like to thank the Perlmans, Toby and Itzhak, for spending time with us and taking the time out of their very busy schedule to be on METV and share the information with you, and hope that it has inspired you to come out and see one of the wonderful concerts or performances that they do. We'll have a link for you on METV's website. Thanks for joining us.